This here is from the Mary Sue. It's called, unsurprisingly, Amber Heard's reduced role in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom backfired, from December 22nd, 2023. Does anybody see a problem here? Well, the problem is narrative. So the best thing that diehard Amber fans like the Mary Sue here can do is say things like, oh, now she's not in it, the movie tanked. The real reason is, the based reason is, there was more than one reason it tanked. First of all, quite simply, superhero movies are not doing good. People are tired of them. Secondly, yes, because Amber's in it. Third, because it just wasn't made right. It was sloppy, choppy, and there's bad word of mouth. But because Amber's in it, it took a bigger hit than it would have. But anyway, let's see what we got here. If anybody is on the opposite side of how I think, it's definitely these people here at the Mary Sue. Heard's reduced role is painfully obvious in Aquaman 2. Hey, I heard she got 20 minutes, which ain't so bad actually. Now that Aquaman 2 has arrived in theaters, Amber Heard's reduced role has been confirmed. Unsurprisingly, the decision is already backfiring and receiving criticism from Heard supporters and film critics alike. The 39 Heard supporters that got together and said, no money if no Mera. Well, there wasn't much money, but not because of them. Heard's role in the Aquaman sequel has been one of the biggest questions surrounding the film's release. Although Heard portrayed Mera in the first Aquaman movie, which received mostly positive reviews and became the DC Extended Universe's biggest commercial success, her role was threatened after the highly publicized Depp vs. Heard case. Now stop right there. You just said why the movie's box office got hurt, which contradicted your headline. Because Amber made so much attention, was in the news so much, she overshadowed the promo. She overshadowed the hype. So, because of her, not because of the reduced role, the movie's doing pretty bad. The defamation case, in which Heard's ex-husband Johnny Depp claimed Heard defamed him because she identified as an abuse survivor, results in fans of Depp launching a vicious smear campaign against Heard and her supporters, which included harassment, verbal attacks, and threats of violence. I don't remember that. And I've been covering this for like 4 years every day, twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. But of course, the Mary Sue will not cite their sources on the threats of violence. Misinformation spread like wildfire, despite it never being proven that Heard's abuse allegations were false. Well, that's not how it works. That is really, really moronic. There's no words, man. When you make a claim, you have to prove it's true. I can't say, put some bruises on my face, point to that guy over there, to the police, and say, welp, he has to prove he didn't do it. That's the whole problem, man, with Western society, is people who think like this. They then give their opinion that the comment about Momoa and Amber not having chemistry was not the reason she got cut down. Of course they'd think that. The fact is, like I said in the beginning, there were multiple reasons. I mean, this is just shit narrative about what they want you to think with nothing behind it. Believing that the real reason for a reduced role was to please Depp's fans and avoid their relentless harassment. Well, no, there was bad chemistry. And then they say Depp fans were putting out false rumors that Amber was cut altogether. Now, they gotta keep saying Depp fans here. Yes, some Depp fans, but pretty much everybody in the media. Even papers and publications that didn't like Johnny still speculated about that because it would be good for them. It would make them look like Amber was the victim if she got cut out. But they gotta keep saying Depp fans and play this blame game. Heard's total screen time as Mera in the Aquaman sequel comes to about 20 minutes in the roughly 2-hour film. At first glance, this seems slightly better than fans hoped for. Let's just say the vast minority of fans, or fans like you, who's like 1 in 50,000 or something. It's better than her not being there at all or only having a cameo, right? Not quite. Despite being seen in the film for at least 20 minutes, Heard isn't in it much at all. In total, she gets about 11 lines, which is 11 too many. So what's she doing in the film? Well, she's just there. She stands quietly and meekly by Aquaman's side, briefly shows off her powers, and gets sidelined early on. Not only do viewers barely get to see her in action, she's hardly even shown with her child. Apparently, between films, Mera became a very timid woman who stepped back and let Aquaman rule his kingdom and raise their son solo. Viewers can't help but notice how bizarre it is that one of the lead stars from the original movie is reduced to standing silently by Aquaman's side and having no personality or story of her own. Even her romance with Aquaman just magically dissipates in the sequel. I mean, it's way too much, though. Having her stand there and looking at her painfully for any amount of time is really bad. I think Amber fans should be real happy she's at least there. She was found guilty of defamation. So why would you think you should have her in the movie? You should be happy she's in it at all. Then they go into some old tropes here about how her role is sloppy and it seems like it was supposed to be different. Yeah, probably. Then they mention and brag that We Want Mera was trending and Only for Mera was also trending, but they fail to mention the reason those things were trending is because mostly Johnny fans were counteracting them and also mentioning them with, debunks and things like that. They just want their readers to believe, whoa, it was trending. Amber has all these fans who are pissed off now. The fact is, there's probably about 5% of hardcore DC fans who wanted to see her for the character, for the continuity. They didn't care about the drama. Then, like another 1% maybe who was really mad she wasn't in it. Then there was like 50% of casual goers who were just like, okay, I hope it's Amelia Clark because Amber's a little weird. Then the portion of Johnny fans, probably 15%, were just like, if she's in it 1 second, we won't see it. Maybe 20%, whatever it is. And they go on, and they won't shut up. But what they also won't do is make sense, cite sources, and have a good opinion. It's a narrative they want you to believe without the details about what was going on. And they end with this. Aquaman 2 messed up its film by not even bothering to be subtle when it cut Heard's role. That's because they wanted the business from the Johnny fans who didn't want to see it. This is likely a big part of why the film is sitting at a sad 36% on Rotten Tomatoes and is projected to be a box office flop. Warner Bros. Messed up the sequel to its most successful DC film just to please a bunch of misogynist cyber bullies. That's the attitude right there that makes this trash. If you have your well thought out, adult-like opinion about it, say it. But don't call people misogynist cyberbullies because someone was found guilty in court and kept in a movie when other actors are kicked right out of franchises simply based on allegations. Live in reality. Maybe it's time for Hollywood to start standing with abuse survivors instead of abusers. But the problem is, if they're not actually survivors, then kick them out of the movie and don't stand with them. Anyway, that's the Mary Sue for you. I disagree with about 90% of what they put out there. Once in a while, we agree on something in the middle. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with what they're saying here? And before I go, want to do a big shout out. The shouts for Christine here. She left me a very nice holiday donation. Thank you so much. It's like a super chat comment thing. It's very appreciated. You can see my keyboard now. Anyway, if you're not subscribed here, consider it. If you don't, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. Done here for now. See you next time. Yes, actually wearing American Eagle. It's like my best shirt.